Happy Monday, everybody, and welcome into the Gramlich and McLean podcast, presented by Ingles, the official supermarket of Gramlich and McLean. It was an interesting and informative, perhaps, week 2. Mac, I did not guess that we would be starting the show with Clemson after the weekend. I felt like there was no way that was going to happen, and here we are.
We're back. I loved how this weekend went. I don't think... Well, it could have went better. NC State, that game went how I thought it was. I wasn't trying to be super negative, but as soon as I saw what happened against Western, I knew they were about to get aired out by Tennessee. Yeah. I just knew that was going to happen, especially how. And here we are somehow starting with this. Offensive line, running game, non-existent. Defense, abysmal. Not a good combination. Anyway, passed on that.
Not good.
That's the only way it could have been better if they somehow could have won. But Clemson dominated. Miami looked great. Cam Ward looked unbelievable. Louisville looked unbelievable. Syracuse, Georgia Tech was a fantastic game. Didn't see anything coming what Syracuse was going to be able to do defensively, which kind of pisses me off, to be honest, because you guys do stuff one game, and then I talk about it, and then I think what's going to happen, and you make me look dumb. So please stop. Like, let's be consistent. So Syracuse, if this is what we're going to do, let's do this the whole year. Pittsburgh stormed back. Auburn had no chance against Cal.
I was going to say, where's the Cal love?
I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy. It was a great weekend. We'll dive into all these, but that was kind of the headliner. And then our freaking Tigers had a pulse offensively. Not a pulse. They had an athletic heart thumping, a horse heart going out of their chest. And I love to see it in person. And they did everything that we asked for, KG, which is nice. I mean, I wrote a handwritten note to Dabo, and he did it. So thank you, Coach.
If you missed it, Mac asked, what's the one thing we wanted to see from the game? Mac's one thing was he wanted to see the young wide receivers, Bryant Wesco and TJ Moore. Obviously, that happened. And all I wanted was 300 yards passing. And that happened almost in the first quarter. So we were very pleased. Mac and I were very pleased with that. Okay, let's get into that game, Mac. Clemson defeats App State, and Clemson scores 66 points.
Awesome.
Just kind of unbelievable in so many ways. 66-20, Clemson defeats App State. And I know there are probably other fans or fans of other teams listening to this, rolling their eyes, saying, guys, are we really? Because I saw those tweets like, why didn't you do it against Georgia? Which Clemson fans are asking the same thing, don't worry. But also, it's just App State. Who cares? And I understand that, even though App State historically is a very good group of 5. I get that. But Mac, I think if you're saying that, you didn't watch the game. Like, I really do, because that first half, it was night and day. It was like this was a different team. If you had told me Cade Klubnik was going to tie a Lamar Jackson record in this game, I would have said, for what? I don't understand. You were there, Mac. Take us through what you saw, what you experienced.
Yeah, unbelievable, to say the least. And I'm with you with all that. Do against Georgia. Okay, has your team done against Georgia? No, they absolutely haven't. So anyway, we'll move on from that. I do want to start with this. It's hard to express. I love that we're on the road every week for the last 2 years, just because I love to do that. I love to go see everybody. Fans everywhere are amazing. So kind to us always. So kind to me personally, always, and just love seeing the people, the players, all of that. But there's something so much different when you're home, and I truly love it. I love being there. I didn't have enough time being home and being at Clemson. I probably took 250 pictures and just tried to relish it all in, because you never know when you're going to be back there, and so I truly can't be grateful enough to everybody that came up to me, spoke to me, kind words about our podcast, about our TV show, everything. It was really, really awesome. So thank you guys. A lot of you that said you watch us on here. So thank you. And then, just being there, KG, and seeing this, because I do think going into the game, we had our wish list, but we didn't know. And actually, not even we didn't know if it was possible. We haven't seen it. We've never seen this. From this quarterback, from this offensive coordinator, and we haven't seen him from Clemson since Trevor Lawrence left. And so it's one of these things where it's like, we talked about this. I thought that Clemson needed to prove to Clemson they could.
Right.
And that's exactly what we got. The atmosphere was sick. I mean, the corners were filled. Everybody was pumped up. And again, we did some unique stuff on the show. I got to kind of do like it's Saturday night monologue from the Rock. So I left the show a little bit early, did that, and got down to the field immediately. Otherwise, I probably would have missed that first touchdown to Bryant Wesco. But we're down there. I'm standing in the end zone. It happens in KG. I'm just sitting there, and I see him run the route, and then the ball's in the air. I'm like, here we go. Like, this is everything I've been dreaming of for 2 weeks, and it happened. And just the way he caught it in stride, kept going, and the place erupted. I mean, I haven't heard it like that in a while, just because it was like a combination of finally and this overwhelming excitement just from everybody. And then it just kept happening. It kept happening. It kept happening. 35 points in the first quarter. Nuts. And, I think Cade certainly – we touched on this. I thought there were things in the Georgia game that looked different, that looked better, but it just wasn't consistent enough, clearly, to be doing backflips about. This was 7 total touchdowns, 400 yards or close to 400 yards, all purpose, just insane. And so the biggest question for me, and we can dive into wherever you want with this, the biggest question moving forward is, now what?
Yeah.
Now that he's shown he can do this, and again, I can't stress enough how important it is for him to see that and to remember, like, yeah, I am that guy. Like, I can do this type of thing. What does that equate to? I think, honestly, and again, this is the last forward-thinking thing I'm going to say right now, I hate that Clemson has a bye right now.
Yeah.
I hate it. I want them to sprint with this momentum, and they have to pump the brakes, slam on the brakes, and just sit around for a week. So, anyway, it was awesome. It was awesome to be there.
You're right, Mac. I was thinking the same thing. I don't think you want to buy right now after that, but that's just how the schedule goes. Mac, you alluded to Cade's numbers. ACC players with 5 passing touchdowns and 2 rushing touchdowns and a half in ACC history. Lamar Jackson and Cade Klubnik. Just crazy. We never would have thought. And I think of all the stats from this game, the craziest stat to me is the first half. 8 possessions, 8 touchdowns. I've never seen anything like that. No. I don't care who you're playing. And that's kind of my point. Georgia played Tennessee Tech and Tennessee played Chattanooga. And I'm not saying Clemson's better than those teams because they're not. But to do this, even against, and Chattanooga is like an FCS. The other teams are FCS. To do this against a group of 5 team, to have that kind of, like you said, consistency, efficiency, and the confidence. We have not seen the Clemson offense look this confident in so long. We've never seen Cade Klubnik look this confident. Right. I don't think. Maybe the ACC championship, maybe that first game.
Yeah.
And I think the big difference, and Mac, you've talked about this, his decisiveness.
Yeah.
He didn't get the happy feet. His pocket presence was so much better because he was getting rid of the ball. Like, he didn't really have to.
And he was getting protected. Yeah.
The
guys were blocking their tails off.
We said the O-line was better against Georgia. I don't think the O-line was really the issue against Georgia. Of course, you'd be better to judge that than me. But I just have never seen that before. And Mac, from Cade, you can bring up the criticism of Bryant Wesco only playing 12 snaps against Georgia. It is what it is. But those 2 guys, specifically Wesco, really stood out to me. He's a difference maker. He can take the top off the defense. He's got incredible speed, and his confidence stood out to me as well, Mac. That those guys have to be the center of your offense from now on.
Well, 1,000%. And again, what does that mean? Because I think what is fascinating, and I want to get to the play selection here in a second. What I think was fascinating was talking with Eddie Royal. He was like in a mirror image situation when he was a true freshman. Virginia Tech opened with USC, who was number 1 in the country. Eddie said he had dominated camp, felt like he was a starter, should have been a starter. Game 1, neutral site or away, whatever it was, he did not start, barely played like only special teams. And what he said is he thought Beamer was protecting him and just didn't want him to get shell-shocked or anything crazy. Week 2, he was a starter for the rest of his career. And so it's one of those things where it was nuts to hear that he went through the exact same thing. And against Western Michigan, he went off. That was his first game as a starter at home. He went crazy as a true freshman, game 2. And so to kind of see that is just fascinating to me, and maybe a little bit more of the thought process behind it, that even with a 12-team playoff, you've got a little insurance, you've got a little time. And how much better is it for him? How much better is it for Clemson if something bad happens. I don't know. Weird to think about. Whole lot of
It's an
different things
interesting
of that
thought.
angle.
It's
It
interesting.
is. It really is.
It's weird though for me for Clemson to have that mindset.
Sure.
You know, when you're
Sure.
supposed to take the field with Georgia and think you can beat them, but
and maybe it's not quite that. Maybe it's more the other guys are older, been there, earned it type thing, and
Mac,
they proved they weren't ready.
You've experienced this firsthand. We've seen Dabo Swinney tend to give the older player the benefit of the doubt, especially in the first game.
Right.
And it just happened to be Georgia. So we've seen that before.
Yeah, but I love that it wasn't a lingering decision. It was like, okay, you didn't make the most of your opportunity. We have competition. It's the next guy's turn, and he isn't looking back, it looks like. So anyway, that's exciting. I do have to give you credit, KG, because one thing I remember you talking about when we were going through this game, you were saying, can we have a couple of, 3-play drive touchdowns? Can we have a couple of 1-play? Let me just rattle these off. 3 plays, touchdown. 3 plays, touchdown. 5 plays, touchdown. 1-play touchdown.
Yeah.
It's been a while. Okay?
That's what it used
It's
to
been
be.
a while. It's been a while. But I love to see it. I thought the aggressive play calling was fantastic. There was even one in particular. I can't even remember if they got it or not. In the second half, it's in kind of midfield territory. It's 4th and down, no hesitation. Coach points right to Garrett, says, go. Go. Figure it out. Let's go. And I think, situationally, it was fun to see that. Fun to see guys making plays. A lot of wide receivers. Tyler Brown did, it sounds like, get a little banged up, and they pulled him precautionary reasons. Didn't need to have anything like that. Marcus Tate, same deal. Didn't even have to play, and thought that they looked really good. So I was ecstatic where Clemson was. I would be remiss if we did not give credit to Phil Maffa having an 83-yard touchdown at 230 pounds, running away from people. I was excited for some of the young guys behind him. Jay Haynes and DE, the young freshman, showed a little pop, showed a little flash. It's going to be really interesting just to kind of follow this younger class, because it really, KG, it's reminding me a lot of 2011, where we had a lot of young guys that were ready to play. And that's when you kind of saw some stuff changing, and the young cats got their opportunity over maybe some older guys that just were where they were, and it was good, but there was another level that Clemson could get to. So it's going to be fascinating to kind of watch some of those go throughout the whole year.
It will. I just didn't think that we would learn this much or care this much about how this game went. And
feels great.
That's
so
why
excited.
we had to start with it. Also, it seems like Peter Woods is okay. That was a scary moment.
Oh gosh, I went and watched it back too. I don't know if you saw it clearly.
It was really dirty.
Brutal.
Yeah,
brutal. Made
After
me a
that,
little
I said, just take everybody out, and that's basically what Dabo did.
Right.
Okay, Mac, let's continue in our kind of winners section. These teams that won big and also not just won, but had a really good week from that perspective. Didn't beat, like a lesser team. We'll get to those teams later. How about Syracuse, Mac? We both picked Georgia Tech. We will tell you that. If you listen on Friday, you remember. Syracuse beats.
Oh, people remember. Trust me. I've got plenty of messages. People remember. Sure.
Syracuse beats number 23, Georgia Tech 31-28. Georgia Tech makes a late push to make it this close, but Syracuse's offense was absolutely humming. It was so much fun to watch. I was so impressed. Kyle McCord, 32 of 46 for 381, 4 touchdowns. And then I love the combination of Gadsden and Pena, who both had 6 catches, who both had 2 touchdowns. They were electric. LaQuint Allen was also really good when he got his opportunities. This offense is awesome, Mac. And the defense, I know you want to talk about the defense. The defense was so much better against the Georgia Tech rushing attack. But this offense really blew me away.
They were exceptional. And I think that, we've spoken about this a lot on the huddle. And if you guys have watched us over there at all, specifically with Kyle McCord and how important it is. And KG, I would love to kind of hear your thoughts as a shooter. When your coach believes undeniably that you are the guy, no matter what happens, you're our leader. We go as you go. Why are you so good right here? Because of Kyle McCord. How are you guys able to do this? Kyle McCord. And so hearing that at every opportunity, hearing him because of the all access thing, which was fantastic with Syracuse, directly look at him and just say, you're setting the tempo for today. Let's go. What do you want to hear? The belief is insane.
Yeah.
And it's directly translating to him, the 2 games that he's played for Syracuse, having the greatest game he's ever had in his life, the second greatest game he's ever had, and trumping it the next week. So it's insane to see this guy, the record-breaking stuff he's doing personally, the command of the offense, the relationship between him, Gaston, Pina, like all these guys. It just seems like they've been together for 5 years and they've been together 5 months. And so I'd love to see it. Kyle just looks really, I mean, he's a Sunday guy for sure. I think there was a little doubt, with just everything that happened at Ohio State, but the control that he has, the vision, the moxie, and I can't stress enough how much believing in your guy, instilling that confidence, what it can do. I mean, it saved his career, saved his life, at the end of the day with what he's doing moving forward. So I love that. Love the creativity to Arande into LaQuint Allen. I mean, it's chess pieces. Where can you put them? How can we use them? How can we get the best matchup? And when Syracuse needed it the most, 3rd and 10, if we give the ball back to them, we're probably losing. Everyone in the field, everyone in the stadium knows this ball's going to 19. It still got to 19, and there was nothing you could do to stop it. It was really impressive to watch offensively.
It's amazing the difference that, I mean, we know Fran Brown's made such a huge difference with his culture change. And I mean, we had him on the show. He's incredible to talk to. And he's brought in a lot of guys from the portal, offense and defense. But when you have a guy like Kyle McCord, it's just a game changer. This offense, and you've got some of the same weapons, right? We talk about Gadsden, Allen, and it's just different. It's so different with him as the trigger man. And Mac, it's crazy too. You talk about the belief, like coming from a place, they obviously, Ohio State believed in him because they started him for all those games, but it didn't feel the same like it does now. And Fran Brown, he's going to send Ryan Day all the champagne, as he said many times. He's he just says what he thinks. I love that.
I do too.
But Mac, and I know if you have more offense, go ahead. But like the defense too, this is why we picked Georgia Tech, because Ohio ran all over Syracuse, and
250.
To get your team to be that much better from one week to the next is really impressive.
It is. And again, it's 1000% the reason why we picked it, because I saw it on that's all I have. That's all that's you until proven otherwise. Nearly 20 missed tackles, getting bullied off the line of scrimmage by Ohio, not State, not anything else, Ohio. And so I'm just watching that like, okay, Georgia Tech's going to play bully ball. Keep it away, no shot. Maybe if it turns into a track meet, you feel good about it, which is what happened. But all Diggs having to play linebacker. This dude is 6'5", 260. He's playing linebacker. Unbelievable. I mean, dominant. Had like 2 or 3 tackles for loss in the backfield, it seemed like, all night, making plays, making guys redirect. Physical. I mean, honestly, I wish I never would have watched the Ohio game. I wish I never would have saw it, because it was a totally different looking team. And, Coach came on, after and did his little press conference, and clearly there was something that happened where they felt really disrespected, either by Georgia Tech or because of Georgia Tech. I don't know what it was. But he got his guys going. He got himself going, then he got his guys going, and it worked. So excited to see, again, what can Syracuse do moving forward. But I do want to say this about Georgia Tech before we move on. Never showed any quit. It was obviously tough. Couldn't get going what they needed to. Thought they maybe looked a little tired, which is just, it's hard. The emotions, you're playing, going over all this stuff, it adds up. I'm tired. It's week 2. It feels like week 10. I'm tired. And so all these different things happen, but yet they still were right there and almost found a way to do it. Had like a block punt, a blocked field goal, an onside kick recovery, and we're 3 points away, and a 3rd down and 10 stop from getting the ball back and maybe winning. So I still think Virginia Tech, talk about them. Georgia Tech is a really good team. Obviously, the schedule is brutal. This is probably one of those you needed to win. So maybe now you're back at that border because you beat Florida State. You lost this game. You're fighting for your life for postseason because of how hard this schedule is. And
they know that. And I don't think they're too worried about it. They're just going to keep going. But we talked about Clemson having a bye week. Georgia Tech didn't have a bye till 2 more weeks. So they had 2 more games. It's like, could they not get an earlier bye? Kind of tough. I did think, Mac, the Georgia Tech defense, which we know had some issues last year, maybe some struggles there. I mean, Syracuse only scored 31, but
Right.
Kyle McCord really could get whatever he wanted. So,
And
and
that we
maybe some
talked
of that
about
was
that too.
cheating.
We literally said Georgia Tech has not seen anything like
Yeah.
what they're about to in regards to a passing attack. We were super clear about that in regards to who they played, and that they hadn't seen anything like that. And that rang true very quickly.
All right, Mac. A game that I didn't think we'd be talking about a lot today. To be very honest with all of you, Cal beats Auburn 21-14.
Just like we knew, just
Crazy.
like we all knew.
Of all the ACC, SEC games that we've seen in the non-conference, the only game the ACC has won is this one. That is not. Sorry, I hate to throw that out there. Of course, the Vanderbilt Virginia Tech game counts. That is not what I expected. But here's Cal picking off Peyton Thorne and Auburn 4 times, going to win in Jordan-Hare. Just massive. I thought Mendoza was really good, managed the game, didn't turn the ball over, which of course is what Auburn did. And if you would have told me that Jaden Ott would only run for 11 yards and Cal would win, I'd say, no, I don't understand how that's possible. But the Cal defense really showed up.
Yeah. On 10 carries, by the way.
Yeah,
Not like he wasn't getting the ball. So that's about 1 yard a rush, 1.1 yard a rush, or less than that. Anyway, totally would agree. If you just looked at the box score and saw that, you're like, sorry, game over. But then you look on the other side of the box score and 4 picks. I mean, and some of it was right place, right time. Some of it was guys taking the ball away. There was another strip fumble that was just beautiful. I mean, a guy literally makes the tackle. They're slowly falling down. He's like, oh, there's the ball. Let me just yank this out. Give me that. 5 turnovers. And probably something we should have looked at, KG, because those guys were number 1 in the country last year in forced turnovers. And guess what? After 2 weeks, they're number 1 again. They're right back in the leaderboard. Just a team that has a knack for the football. And that's the great equalizer. That no matter what the talent level is, if you cannot hold on to the football, it's hard to win, especially when you have 5 turnovers. So really impressive stuff. It was awesome to see just the total effort from these guys. Again, complimentary football, offense taking advantage when they did get the ball back and when they got it in key spots. And just kind of that last touchdown they had to put it up to 21. It just felt super out of reach, and it was. So I was very, very impressed. This was Cal's first cross-country trip, and it seemed like they were fine.
Yeah.
So as Coach Wilcox told us, bigger plane, more Gatorade, more water, we'll be just fine. Looks like they're off to a great start.
Mac and I, of all, a lot of these coaches we know really well, but after we interviewed Justin Wilcox, you and I were both really impressed with Justin Wilcox. He is very much I don't care about anything else but this team and football. Yeah. And I think that's obvious. They have San Diego State this weekend. Then they go to Florida State. Let's go. Is going to be interesting for both parties. Mac, I saw a little sidebar. I saw a meme this weekend where a Florida State fan said, I had a great weekend because Florida State didn't play. It's just, it's tough down there. It's tough down there. We're going to get back to Florida State. We know really times are tough. Mac, we have to give Pittsburgh some love as we're in our winner's circle here. I thought Pitt was done. I saw this halftime score. I was like, okay. I mean, we didn't feel super confident about it anyway with this new look offense, the defense that hasn't been as dominant. I just kind of chalked it up to, all right, Pitt's going to lose to Cincinnati. And they come back. Mac, this offense is fun. Eli Holstein was wheeling and dealing. The defense made plays down the stretch when they needed to. Yeah, I was impressed. And we'll talk about a Virginia win too. But to come back like that is not something we would have seen from Pitt last year.
No, not even close. They wouldn't have been able to. There was no chance that they could have because
offensively.
Of lackluster offensive / quarterback play. But I don't remember when it was. I think it was in the third quarter. I didn't quite give up as quickly, but when it was 27-6, I was like, okay, we can get this off our TV. We can watch something else. Let's see what happens. And of course, we did not. But whatever happened, flipped the switch, and they clearly answer with 22 straight points with a game-winning field goal, and just the again, I've used this word so many times, but the moxie of the team, the no-quit attitude from Eli Holstein, who, by the way, is a freshman redshirt freshman.
Yeah.
It is incredible. 300 yards, 3 touchdowns. Desmond Reed is a
Mm-hmm.
monster. 150 rushing yards, 108, whatever it was, receiving yards, a couple of touchdowns. I mean, he is nuts. It's crazy to see a weapon of that caliber. And the other week, he had like a punt return for a touchdown or a kick return. Very versatile player. And then to see Kanata Mumpfield really emerge, really step up, because I thought that
Yeah.
2, 3 years, whatever it was, however long
years.
he's been there, 2 years.
Yeah.
But he hadn't had a QB. He hadn't had a QB to throw him the ball. And this is so similar to Miami, to these guys, to Syracuse, all these teams of where we are now saying, oh, look what they're doing. Because you literally, Clemson, throw them in there for this past game. They literally are having guys who are able to get them the ball, throw the ball downfield, and it changes everything. Quarterback is the most important position in all of football. And when you got one, everything changes. So love what we saw there. On top of, as you mentioned, KG, there is truly something. Comebacks like this cannot happen unless 3 phases of football are activating and playing together. And that's what they did. Defense capitalized, made some really nice plays, really nice tackles, a turnover here and there. Just really impressed with the no-quit attitude from those guys when it felt like it was done. It was over, and they found a way. Scored 15 points in the fourth quarter, which is
on the
so
road.
sick. Yeah,
on the road. We didn't even mention that. I think this is that kind of comeback really galvanizes a team. And of course, Pittsburgh hosts West Virginia this weekend. So I think that's going to be a very interesting game. That could be just massive for Pitt. Max, similar. We talk about comebacks, right? Virginia winning at Wake Forest. I watched basically this entire game as I was watching Clemson and Tennessee, NC State. We had multi-screens going on. And Virginia beats Wake Forest 31-30. I don't know if it's because of Coach E or what. I feel like I'm adopting this Virginia team. I feel like they're kind of like my little brother that I'm adopting. And I want to see them do well because they're fun. They're really fun to watch. Calandria, I could watch him play football all day. You never know what that guy's going to do. Never. Good or bad, he did throw 2 picks, but he passed for over 350 yards. And he was the difference maker. And I thought Wake Forest also looked pretty good. Right. They just really couldn't finish drives. And they obviously couldn't put Virginia away. That was part of their issue. But I was impressed, Mac. And I thought this game, similar to Georgia Tech, Syracuse, both were just really fun and good football games to watch.
Right. Which, how exciting is that for us in the ACC? Because it felt like for a while you're just watching, you're like, okay, this is brutal. This is no fun. This is whatever. But I think it also speaks to the conference of quarterbacks deal.
Yeah.
You have 2 guys in this that throw over 350 yards. Bachmeier's in the 400s.
Yeah.
I mean, it's fun to watch. It's exciting football, as you mentioned. And very similarly to Pitt, it's 17-30. And I'm just like, this is over. See you later. And here they come marching back. One of the largest, comeback victories they've ever had. And win by 1. I mean, it was so much fun to see. Calandria, as you mentioned, is just a baller. I mean, that dude can rip it. It's still there though. You got to take the great with the pull your hair out. It is. It's literally part of the experience. That's right. You can't look away. You literally can't look away. So very impressed with them. We will be in Charlottesville this weekend. I cannot wait to go through the Virginia experience live and in person, baby.
Can't wait, Mag. It's going to be fun to watch. And I think this Virginia-Maryland game is going to be interesting because I did a little tallying up today, Mac, just very quickly before we get to, sadly, we do have to talk about NC State, but the ACC versus the other Power 4, 1-4 against the SEC. We told you about that. Obviously,
you don't have to specify.
I'm just saying.
Wait, not 1-4. There's 2. Miami beat Florida.
Oh, Miami.
Shout out to the Balloons.
I totally didn't count that one. Okay, my bad. So 2-4. Thank you. 2-0 against the Big Ten, by the way. Perfect. That's why I'm saying that for Virginia, Maryland.
Love
and then
that.
Against the Big 12, 1-2. And of course, we have Pitt, West Virginia coming up. BC, Missouri. That is going to be a very interesting game this weekend.
Huge.
Thank you for correcting me on that, Eric McLean. I don't know how I forgot Miami. Okay. We have to talk about this game. Number 14, Tennessee beats number 24, NC State, 51-10.
Brutal.
I don't even have words for this game, Mac. I think the pick six obviously was killer. The pick six where Grayson McCall got picked off in the red zone. That completely changed the game because you're looking at maybe it becoming 10-10 and then it's 17-3.
Right.
However, you didn't just lose because of that pick six.
No,
you lost in basically every facet of the game.
Literally every facet. You want to know the most telling and egregious and sickening difference? 250 rushing yards by Tennessee.
Yep.
39
They
rushing
still
yards.
can't run it. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's brutal.
It's baffling. It's depressing. Jordan Waters, 7. This is so nuts. 7 carries, -4 yards.
I don't even know how that happens.
Jordan Waters, the guy, dude. I can't. I don't even, like you said, I don't know what to say.
Yeah.
And I'm going to give you a little silver lining at the end, but what I said this whole entire time was this is the year. You have to do it. You have to take advantage of the schedule and the players that you brought in. And so far, we're not doing it. And it's crazy to look at. And I get it. It's football. It's hard to sit here and predict. And who knows, when the transfer portal guys come in, you never really know until you do. And I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see. But here's the silver lining. All my predictions, everything I've ever said, I never had you beating Tennessee.
Yeah, that's true.
I knew that was going to be one of the 2 losses. The other's probably going to be Clemson. And the rest of it, run it. Let's go. 10 wins, all on the table for you. So you've got to figure it out quickly. I need to see way more, way more. I didn't quite think it would look like this in regards to 51-10, 250 rushing yards on a defense that historically is really good. But you got to get going in a really big hurry here because it's not trending very nicely right now.
I really don't know what to say about NC State. And I feel really bad for their fans because we love NC State fans. And NC State fans
for sure
care so much.
Yeah.
And they were told by many people, perhaps including us, that it was their year, or at least probably going to be their year in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
But like you said, Mac, it is one game. And you've got to be able to put it behind you, even though I'm struggling.
And like I said,
for you,
this was all expected. The record is where I thought it would be. Where I thought it would be.
All right, let's just move on to a game that was also hideous. BYU beats SMU 18-15. I don't even want to spend too much time on this. This game was terrible. It was terrible to watch. It really was. Some just brutal interceptions and fumbles and all this. But Mac, my main question for you is, who is your quarterback, SMU? What are you doing? At times, it's almost like every other series. Like one series, I'd think, okay, Kevin Jennings is the guy. In the next series, I'd think, no, don't do it. But then they stuck with him, which I get because you need to stick with someone. But now I'm just so even more confused about you. I don't know what to think. They don't know who their quarterback is.
Which is shocking to me, given what I saw last year, given what I saw in practice. I know it's just one practice, but given what I saw, and I really don't understand it because I think at the end of the day, specifically looking at the last couple of drives to potentially win a game, I saw a quarterback that was frightened as soon as he caught the ball. That shouldn't have been. There was no reason to be happy feet. I saw a guy that just wasn't making decisions quick enough. I saw a guy that when he did make decisions, it was the absolute wrong decision. And so I don't know. I'm pretty shocked, honestly, with this one as well. Just what it's looked like,
Yeah.
It's weird. So we'll see. I guess the saga continues. We'll figure out more about SMU as we go, but not a great spot right now. And again, both with NC State and SMU, the first time that we saw you is extremely telling about where you are right now. And so, long season, a lot of goals in front of you. Haven't played an ACC game yet. Time to get going.
One thought for me about SMU, and then we'll do our quick hitters and just run through our speed round. But it did annoy me. And you and I, we both thought SMU could win 8 games. Like that's right about where we had them. And I think they still can. But it did annoy me how all of the national media was suddenly like, SMU. I mean, they could win
Mhm.
the ACC or what.
Right.
I'm like,
Yeah, exactly. We never said
what do you
that.
think?
We
What do you
never
think
said that.
this is? Like,
Yeah, yeah.
and this is nothing against SMU. Please don't
It
hear
just
it
is
that
what it
way.
is. Yeah,
But
it
to
just is.
say that a group of 5 team could just move up and compete for
Right.
the league right away,
Right.
it's really disrespectful. And I think it's obvious
Yeah.
that that's not going to happen. So
Right.
that just annoyed
Totally
me.
agree.
I'm going to just put
It's a
that out
great
there.
point. It's a very good point. I
And
like that.
SMU fans, I hope you still listen to us. I'm sorry. I didn't mean that.
Hey,
It's not
pony up,
really
baby.
about you.
We ride with y'all. Can't
Yeah.
wait to be in Dallas. Trust me.
That wasn't really about you guys. Don't worry. Okay.
That's right.
Quick hitters, Mac. Duke beats Northwestern. I doubted the Dukies. I apologize. They beat Northwestern 26-20. Mac, give us a quick thought on this game being played on a lacrosse field.
Hey, Mark Packer called it the nicest temporary stadium you've ever seen.
It
in your
did look
entire
pretty.
life.
Yeah.
On the beach, all 2,000 people that were there. It was sick. But a lot of grit. Again, very similarly, going to double overtime. I loved what I saw in each overtime. I mean, the strikes from Malik Murphy, a couple of touchdowns there. Jordan Moore, again, can't overemphasize how sick that dude is. He is so good. 11 catches, 121 yards. Duke's 2-0. Let's keep it rolling. It's fun to watch.
It's time to discover the convenience and time savings of contact-free pickup with Ingles Curbside. Just visit shop.ingles-markets.com or download the app. And your Ingles personal shopper gets to work with specialized training on how to select the freshest items for a pre-scheduled pickup. They'll even text you with updates. You pull up to a designated space and your personal shopper delivers your items right to your vehicle. Fresh, fast, and affordable. It's all in the bag. Ingles. Low prices. Love the savings.
All right, KG, let's go down to South Beach because the boys in Coral Gables looked really, really good. And we love what we saw.
They did what they needed to do. Absolutely loved it. It felt like they kept some of that momentum. I know it was just FAMU, but you handled your business. Cam Ward was excellent. Restrepo, Martinez, the whole lot. And defensively, they looked really good. So I loved what I saw from Miami. Mac, Louisville covered. I told you they
Yeah.
would. You doubted me.
I did.
You
doubt
doubted me,
it. I did.
but they did cover.
They look good.
I like this Louisville team, Mac.
Yeah, I do too. And you want to talk about balance? How about 35 passes, 35 rushes? As balanced as it can get. 377 passing yards, 234 rushing yards. These dudes are good. They're fun to watch. I can't wait to see it as they enter ACC play. It's gonna be really fun.
Yeah, I'm ready to see Louisville play a good team. Boston College beats Duquesne 56-0. I am so ready for Boston College, Missouri. This was another just, keep it going for BC. We're going to have some BC, Missouri stuff coming at you this week. But I saw a stat about this game, Mac, and I hope this is right. It looked like it was either a sellout or close to a sellout. 35,000 people there at Alumni Stadium up there in Massachusetts. I'm very impressed with that, Mac. I love to see it. I think Bill O'Brien and Tommy Castellanos have some people very interested in BC.
They're getting some people jacked up. Let me just tell you, word on the street is the huddle might be heading there soon. So can't wait to see it. Can't wait to see that environment. How about let's go down to Chapel Hill, North Carolina, gets the W, but a lot of people got hurt. Didn't like it. Was a little nervous. We'll find out more coming into Friday, specifically Amarian Hampton. Sounded like he maybe is okay from Coach Mac Brown, but I'm a little bit eyebrow raised looking at the heels right now.
Yeah, me too. Virginia Tech beats Marshall 31-14. It took Virginia Tech a little while to pull away.
Yeah,
didn't love that. Kyron Drones didn't have a super great game passing the ball. Bashal Tootin was toting the rock.
Day.
I mean, he played great, but something still just feels off with Virginia Tech. I don't know what it is, Max. We'll keep an eye on him.
I know. It's very weird. And the hype train, when it gets rolling, hard to bring it back in the station, and then you get a little disappointment. You got the W, though. They figured it out. Speaking of getting the W, shout out to Stanford, taking care of business, doing their thing. Ashton Daniels looked great. A couple of touchdowns, also ran the ball pretty effectively. Stanford, here we go. We're rolling. We're picking things up, and we're getting going. So love what we saw from them. Before we get out of here, KG, I do need to vent a little bit about my weekend with fantasy sports, specifically Underdog Fantasy, our lovely partner here. I guess I like taking risks. I like potentially winning a lot of money. But the problem is when you don't win, it's not really worth the risk. So it's killing me right now. I was quite frankly 4 yards away 4 yards. I'm not going to specify who. You guys can go look and figure it out. But I was 4 yards away from like $160. And so I'm pretty depressed about that. I just need to do the little flex thing, and I would have won, $2, and I would have been excited.
That's what I tell you to do, Mac. See, it just goes to show. This is literally this is the difference between you and me. You're going to take those risks. I'm going to do 3 picks, and I'm just going to hit it straight down the middle. And I hit again, Mac. I mean, all green, baby. Calandria, higher than 243.5 passing yards. Jamal Haynes scored that touchdown for me. And Antonio Williams scored a touchdown. So won about $40. As Mac said when I told him, I'm now rich.
Yeah,
you
you're
talk
super
to me
rich.
about something, you let me know. But Underdog Fantasy, use our code GMPOD. Sign up today. They have so much stuff going on for college football and NFL. There's a new offer every day, something fun that you can look at. But of course, we're going to give you picks every week for college football games here in the ACC. So use our code GMPOD. Underdog Fantasy is the easiest, and it really is the easiest place to play fantasy sports.
That's right. Hardest place to win, though, just like they all are, because you got to know what you're talking about.
For some people.
For some of us, for one of us. Here's the deal. I'm figuring out some trends, people.
Okay.
I'm getting close. This is where Separation Sunday is coming. It's about to happen.
Okay.
I feel good because KG, you're going to do your little, cautious bets, $2 here, $1 here, and I'm going to take off with one, and I'm going to beat you already. So I'm going to keep worrying about that and be in debt right now until I figure that out. But anyway, appreciate you guys tuning in always. Really fun episode. Great start to the season as we continue to roll here, crank things up, continue to get closer to conference play. It's a big weekend. We got a lot of crossover games this weekend as well. Cannot wait to preview all of those. As KG said, we'll have another special guest on Wednesday. Can't wait for you guys to hear that. But we need you to go over to YouTube, subscribe, leave some comments. Tell us about your picks. Were you like me and a loser, or were you like KG and a rich winner? We would love to hear that. We always appreciate your guys' support. But until next time, we'll see you.